What is your craziest final exam story? I took a class on quality engineering back in the early 90s when it was really a new concept in the US. It was the first time the class was offered, so the class didn't really have a precedent to follow. We had a few exams but we got no information on the final exam at all. It got closer and closer and still didn't really have any info on what the final was going to entail. Finally, the teacher tells us that we are going to meet at a local pizza restaurant. Odd, but okay, sounds good so far. We get to the restaurant and the teacher orders pizzas for all. After we have a fine meal of pizza and soda, the teacher places a sheet of paper face down on the table and tells us to leave them there. This is our exam. When we get to turn them over, the sheet of paper simply asked us what grade we felt we deserved and write one paragraph to defend our grade. Everyone got an A. Didn't have enough money to buy my medication for my epilepsy, so I just had to live through it for a few days. Bad thing was, these few days were the exam days. I had to take 4 final exams in the course of 2 days, all while having a headache throughout the exams, arm pain, blurry vision, and a loss of focus. In the end, I passed all 4 exams and the medication problem was solved. Hardly crazy, but you asked for my craziest. It was finals during winter. Everyone was wishing our Jewish professor a Merry Christmas. In September he mentioned he was Jewish. I was one of 3 kids left taking an exam out of 100. I walk up and say, "Happy holidays," he says, "Ah shit, really? Now I have to give you 100%, you remembered." He made a deal with himself: if one person says happy holidays or remembers he's Jewish he would give 100. Crazy, right? Thanks prof. Always pays off to be festive. Had to take trig after taking a bunch of advanced math and transferring to a different school. I had it in high school, but they wouldn't let that slide for a math major for some reason. Only class available was at 8 a.m., so after the first day, I only showed up for tests. 2 tests and the final were the total grade for the class. Professor let us have a full 8 by 11 sheet of notes for the test, and we could have whatever we wanted on it. Copied the page and a half of trig from CRC Handbook of Math Tables to a note card, and used that as a reference. Final was 10 problems that got harder as you went along. The last problem on the test was the inverse of the last identity in the CRC book. Pretty complicated looking, but I just inverted and solved it. Finished and triple-checked the test in about 10 minutes, knowing I had aced it. Prof gave me a scowl as I turned it in, and asked me if I was sure I was finished. Week later, I'm checking the posted grades, and I got a B. Go to office hours, and ask about it. He had marked off the last problem as wrong because I didn't show my work. I pulled my CRC book, and showed him the identity and my note card. He got very angry, and changed my grade. People who have cheated in major exams, how has doing so affected you? Are you ashamed or embarrassed? Or do you have no regrets? This can actually be a big deal than you might think it is. A couple of weeks ago at my school, someone was caught with a cell phone in the AP Psych exam after they posted a 6-second video, Vine's length limit, of the pre-exam proceedings. Not even the test itself. The College Board was considering following the default policy of canceling all 275-ish exams taken, but in the end, only scrapped the score of the kid who took the video. Our school even made it onto the front page of a major newspaper and several other news sites because of that. I cheated through all the exams for my philosophy class once. My professor made a huge mistake by deciding to trust her students and show each and every test in its entirety during the class before the exam. During that class, my professor would hand out about 8 to 10 copies of the test and expected us to work through them in groups. My group would literally form a tight circle around the test and take pictures from our smartphones hidden in our jackets. The professor seemed to have caught on and demanded that all belongings be put away up front before she passed the test. We then would hide one phone in someone's jacket with the recorder app activated. We literally just read each question and answer loud enough to get picked up by the phone. We would type them out and answer them using our notes. For the exam itself, we would bring in our own scantrons pre-answered with the correct answers. We would just make a small, barely noticeable mark on each line with the right answer and bubble them in during the test. After that, you just had to wait a decent amount of time to turn it in. My professor was none the wiser, and me and group ended getting an A in that class.
If you have made it this far, comment shallot down below. Feel free to leave a like and comment and to subscribe and hit the bell button. See you all in the next video.